In the previous class, we understood about the Lakehouse. Now, as a part of this class, we'll understand how the data is stored in the Lakehouse in the form of delta lake tables. Okay, so we have understood one lake, and within one lake, we have Lakehouse. What next? We have to deal with the delta lake, which is a part of the Lakehouse. So, what is delta lake then, Anna?
So the files we load, data we load, it will
Mhm,
be in columnar format, that is
mhm.
in delta table.
Okay, good. Any other thoughts from anyone?
Where lots of delta tables are stored, like
In the delta lake. That's what you are saying. Okay.
it's
So we understood in the fabric account, we have within one lake workspace, right?
Yes, sir.
And within workspace, we have in the data items, different data items like lakehouse. So in the lakehouse, we have delta lake. If you guys remember, lakehouse is a combination of a lake and
Warehouse.
warehouse, right? Now, how that lakehouse is coming to work through the Delta Lake. Okay, it's a open source storage layer, a relational database semantics to Spark-based data processing. Means if you want to perform the analysis through Spark, we can access the data in Delta Lake and manipulate it as if it is there in a table. Okay, that is how the Delta Lake helps. It is a open source storage layer. Okay. Now, what is a Delta table? Isn't it? I mean, within Lakehouse we have a Delta. What is the Delta table now? Any thoughts from anyone?
From the name itself, I can say that it is also a kind of table having rows and columns.
Okay.
Maybe it is inside the delta lake.
Okay. So, Delta tables are the schema abstractions over data files that are stored in the Delta format. Pay attention here. If you see, when we discussed about one lake, we said the data is in a way stored in the Delta Parquet files, right? Now, I am referring that as a table. Now, you have a file that is a Parquet file that needs to be appear as a table for you. So, in order to make these files appear as a table, delta tables come into picture. They are schema abstractions over data files stored in a delta format because we are storing the Parquet files in a delta Parquet format. Okay, is it making sense now? You have a file. Okay, that file has to appear as a table for you. Okay, that is where delta table come into picture.
sir, here data files abstractions over data files means abstraction over Parquet files, or the data files may be different.
Data files are nothing but Parquet files.
Only Parquet files.
Only Parquet file. Now, see, basically, you have this is we have represented it really well. This should appear as a table, as if it is in a database. This file doesn't have a schema, so schema will be provided over this Parquet file that makes to look as a table. So, because it is a file also, it is a table also. In a way, we'll get a benefit of structured table management with the performance and storage efficiency of the Parquet files. Because if you want to store the data in a table, that may take more space as compared to storing the data in a columnar compressed Parquet file. Okay, so it will make things more clear. Now, for each table, the Lakehouse stores a folder containing a Parquet data files. When I say data files, I am referring it as a Parquet data files. And there is one folder called a delta log folder. Okay, where you have a transactional details logged in as a JSON format. So whenever you create a table, there are two things. Okay, one is obviously Parquet files, and we have a delta log folder. In delta log folder, you have a JSON file which captures CRUD operations. I mean, whenever you are manipulating the table, that manipulations logged in JSON is there in the delta log folder. First of all, delta table is a abstraction over a Parquet file. Now, when we create a table, you have two things, Parquet data files and data log folder. So data files, you already have seen the data files. Have you guys seen the Parquet files so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure, right? Nandra showed you.
Yes.
Okay. Now, those Parquet files need to be shown as a table for you. That is where delta table comes into picture. When you create a table, you have a Parquet file also, and also you have a folder, data log folder. Anyway, that will be shown as a part of the next upcoming hands-on class. So, as of now, try to grasp concepts as possible, but let us reconfirm those things as a part of the hands-on. Okay, let us do that. Okay. In case if you are not able to understand anything, please shoot the questions now. Are you guys able to get at a high level what is happening out here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So a delta table is a file. Inside the file, the structure will be looking like a table. So we are calling it as a delta table, right?
Correct. So delta table has two things.
Okay.
Delta table has two things. One is Parquet data files, delta log folder.
The log folder. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Because
sir.
of these two combination only, it is a table. Okay.
Okay. Combination of these two, we are calling it as a delta table, right?
Exactly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. With the advent or with the discovery or invention of the data tables, we got so many important benefits. Okay. So there is an interoperability between the files and the RDBMS kind of a tables. So it supports both the batch and also streaming data. Okay, batch is the data which is already stored for a long time. Streaming means the data,
Live data.
yeah, which is coming as and when. Okay, it's a live data, streaming data. Okay, like you are streaming the movie in a Netflix, like, okay. So, and also data versioning and time travel. Data versioning, all of you know, we can store the data based on the version, like this version, that version. Okay. Time travel means we can go back in time whenever you want and see what are the changes which are made. Okay, that is a time travel with respect to the data here. And it supports the acid transaction. Vineet, what kind of a transaction? Sulfuric acid transaction, right?
Atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability.
Awesome, very good. Okay. So, as our Vineet said, acid transaction means atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Okay. Acid transactions are very important for any RDBMS, right? Okay. Without acid transactions, updates which are happening in our bank account, the acid transactions are very important. So, on a Parquet file, delta tables are enabling the acid transactions. Parveen, you are able to get it, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
a way, it acts like a table for you. Okay. So delta tables allows you to look at the Parquet files as the relation tables and support querying and data modification. Okay. Tell me one thing. Whenever you query a data from a SQL endpoint, can you modify the data there?
No, sir.
We cannot. But here we can modify the data. These are the important benefits of the delta table. So if you go back, one lake, within our space we have a data item. Within data item we have Lakehouse. One of the data item is a Lakehouse. Within Lakehouse we have a delta lake. Within delta lake we have a delta table. Delta table has Parquet files and log. Okay, this is how the hierarchy. This is how the layers are. Okay, now that we understood the benefits of the delta table, so delta table in the Lakehouse are signified by triangular delta icon. You can see here. I don't know whether you guys are able to notice it or not. Two black one here. You can see I am hovering. The delta tables are signified by the triangular data icon. This is the triangular. In the table, there is an icon here. When you create the delta table, this is how they look like. So, as I said, in the delta table, this is a delta table, Parquet file, and you have a delta log folder, which in turn has a JSS file. Okay, makes sense? Are you guys with me so far? Very easy, right? There is nothing great about it. But tell me one thing, Lini, where are we now in terms of the whole data engineering?
Delta lake.
Delta lake is for what? For what purpose it is used for? We are in a storage
Storage.
layer. Okay. So we have ingestion, we have storage, we have transformation, we have the visualization. Okay. We are spending more time, how do we store the data? Where do you store the data? In which format you store the data, right? We are discussing all those things here. Okay. So we are storing the data in Delta Lake as a Delta table. Delta table has two parts, Parquet file and Delta log folder. Okay, right? This is JSON file. So now we learned about the Delta Lake. Let us see how do we create a Delta table. Okay. Any idea how do we create the Delta table? Vinith, how do we create the Delta table, Vinith?
So go inside the files, and then where we have stored the data, then we click on the data and then new table, and then the delta table gets created there.
Okay. Any other thoughts from anyone?
So using SQL also we can create.
Very good. Okay. So we can create the delta tables in three ways. We can create the delta table from a data frame. We can create the delta table from delta table builder API. We can also create the delta table by using a Spark SQL. You guys got it? There are three ways. Okay. Now let us understand them one by one. What is data frame?
It is a structured API
Of what?
in Spark.
Absolutely. Okay. So, in a way, we are interfacing with the Spark here. Okay. So, you can create the delta tables by using from a data frame. How do we do it? First and foremost thing is you create a data frame. Do you guys remember creating a data frame? You did, right?
Yes.
Data frame name, this is a data frame name, and also you are using a Spark session, read API, and loading the data from a path. Okay, this is how we created a data frame. Then you save the data frame as a managed delta table. The way you do it is you say data frame, what are you created here, and instead of using a read API, use a write API. While providing the format, provide the format as a delta. Okay, and save as a table, my table. Vinith, got it?
Yes, sir.
Anna, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Very simple. All we are doing here is we are creating a delta table as a part of the Lakehouse. One of the way to create the delta table is create a data frame and write the data frame as a delta table by using a write API in Spark. Okay, this is one way. Okay, and one more way is you use a delta table builder API. Okay, so all you have to do is import the from delta table imports, and here you are using a API. I think anyway it will be shown as a part of the okay, and create the delta table. Means in a way what you are doing is you are creating the schema upfront and creating a delta table. Okay, you are creating a delta table here. Then you have the last ways using the Spark SQL. Okay, so it is when you want to create a Spark, when you want to work in a Spark by using a Spark SQL, it is almost working like a SQL. It is almost working like a RDBMS. So all you do is you create a schema the way we usually do it while creating the table and provide the column name and all those things and use the format as using delta. Okay, through this you will be able to create the delta table. Three ways. One is by using a data frame. Second one is like a API. The third one is by using a Spark SQL. Okay, what are we discussing here?
Creating the delta table through Spark.
Got you. Okay, wonderful. So there are three ways of creating the delta table. Now that we created a table, there are different types of delta tables. Okay, Parveen, what are those different types of delta tables?
Data frame.
No, that is the ways of creating a delta table.
Data tables, okay.
Now I am telling there are different types of delta tables. Tell you guys that. Okay, one is managed tables. The second one is external table. One is managed delta table. Second one is external table. How are they different? How are they different? What is managed? What is external? Malini?
Managed is internal. External is when you're connecting with the third-party tools.
Oh, very good. So what happens is managed tables, are stored and managed within the Lakehouse. Okay. Whenever you delete the table, it removes the data also, schema also, both. Okay, because it is the table within the Lakehouse. The data is stored within the Lakehouse. Schema is within the Lakehouse. Okay. Now, on the other hand, when you go to the external tables, the like the data is there in the data is outside the Lakehouse. Means you can see I'm giving a location. I'll say create table, my external table using delta location. I'll provide the location in case of external table. But in case of managed table, I am not doing that because it by default it will take the Lakehouse wherever created as a. So when I delete the table in a managed table, it will delete the both schema and also the data. But on the other hand, when I delete the table, external table, what happens here? Parveen, what happens?
It will delete the table only, I think, sir.
It will delete the only schema. It will not delete the data because data is not in the Lakehouse.
Okay.
Getting me right, Anna?
Yeah.
So in case of managed, there are two types of delta tables. One is managed table, one is external table. In case of managed table, if you delete the table, it will delete the schema and also the data. But on the other hand, external table, it will delete only the schema, not the data, because the data is outside the Lakehouse, wherever you are specifying. That is the reason it's called as the external. Okay, makes sense? Easy
Yes.
peasy, right? There is nothing great about it. Very easy, right? Okay. Now that we understood this, how do we see? We are discussing various things here. We understood what is delta table, and we understood what are the ways of creating the delta table, and we understood
Different types of delta
different
table.
types of delta table, managed and external. Now let us say you have a data frame. Okay, you want to save that in a delta format, because saving that in a delta format will help you to save the storage space, because delta format you are storing it in a columnar compressed Parquet files. That will save the lot of. So if you want to store the data of a data frame in a delta format, you can do that. Let's say this is a data frame. I am talking about it is a combination of a Spark and also Fabric here. That is the reason I taught you guys Spark. Okay. So you have a data frame here. I'll say write. The format here is delta, and you have both two modes here, overwrite and append mode. So in the overwrite mode, it will overwrite the file which is there in the path, but in the append mode, it will append to that file. Okay. So if you have a data frame, and if you want to store the data in a delta format, you can do this by using a overwrite mode or a append mode. Okay, one of these two ways. Okay, makes sense? So what next? We will take the hands-on next class. Okay, that's all for now. Like and subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. Thank you.